Breaking news coming out last night and this morning that Democrats are saying it's time to dump Joe Manchin and pass through all the stimulus provisions and things that we've been promising people for quite some time. Now take a look at the headlines, you guys. Senate season Manchin starts winding down. They're saying we're done with Joe Manchin. We're dumping him. Your power in the Senate is going to be over here very soon. So what they're going to be doing is taking a look. Democrats have no appetite for Yankee Manchin gavel. What they're doing is they're going to say, listen, we're not going to wait another month for you to make up your mind on inflation and what provisions to get passed through. We're just going to accept what is that you're offering, and then we're going to issue our executive actions by the president. They're saying it's going to start today. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who is back in the Senate, and he says there's more reconciliation on the way. Take a look, you guys. Dems will push ahead on a pared down economic measures, saying Manchin will take your deal. And you guys, Dems, they lean towards Manchin's small bold deal, and we're hearing executive actions are going to be coming. And like I said, Schumer says you're going to see it for yourself. More reconciliation, a second reconciliation is always available. However, that only applies if you hold the majority in the Senate. Reconciliation is passing through legislation with 51 votes, which is only available for a limited period of time. You can only do 1 or 2 per year, depending on how they interpret the legislation. However, that only works if you hold the majority. And in these upcoming midterm elections, the question is, will Democrats continue to hold the majority? Well, we're hearing that if they do not address the number one concern of the American people at this time, which is the state of the economy, that it is unlikely that they are going to hold the majority going into 2023. It's time to issue out those stimulus checks. And if the Democrats were able to convince Joe Biden to do executive actions to send out stimulus checks, that $800 billion just left over, sitting there, repurpose it and reallocate it and send it out. Joe Manchin continued to block it. If they can take over more seats in the Senate, when asked about the criticism, Manchin said the bottom line is inflation. And he said, I have never strung anyone along when he was asked about all the opposition he's received from his own party. And they're talking about getting rid of him, dumping him. Now let's go ahead and dive into the latest. We're hearing that today the president is going to be issuing a declaration of emergency for the climate, issuing our executive actions. And we're hearing that that's just going to be the first of many more are going to be unfolding this week. And also there's an assortment of other executive actions that we've been hearing progressives have lined up ready for the president to issue out to help out with the economy as well. So keep an eye out for that. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the video footage and hear from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who's saying more is on the way. Democrats are moving ahead with the provision to lower prescription drug prices. We'll be meeting with the parliamentarian this Thursday. For the bipartisan bird path on this provision, as you know, the bipartisan first Democrats get to go forward with the parliamentarian, then Republicans, but the real bird path is both there together and make their arguments. That's what's going to happen Thursday. And let me say this, we are excited about doing prescription drugs. This is something we've waited for a very long time, and it's going to be a major accomplishment to help people bring down inflation. Of course, for the first time, the drug companies will be forced to negotiate prices with Medicare, but there's other things as well. For instance, there's a $2,000 limit. No one would pay more than $2,000 for drugs. That's going to send relief to lots of people who desperately need expensive drugs and can't afford them. There is a provision, an anti-inflation provision, so once the company starts selling its drug, and they've already then, even if the price is expensive, they say, well, it's years of research, it's all those costs. But once they set that price, they can only raise the price on their own at the inflation rate. That's a huge thing. So there's a lot of things that are in this provision-free vaccines. We are going to keep fighting on climate. It's very, very important. It's an existential threat to the globe. We're urging the administration to do things that it can do administratively, and we're going to look at everything that we can do. You're gonna see the chip. You will see the chips bit is already published, and you can look at all it and make your determinations on both of those things. Okay, now wait, I want to give away one of the man's little secrets before. He has his own little chart that he reserved his seat. Mean to show everybody right now. We need all the other networks to put things on their seats so they can get a front row seat just like Manuel. Well, I see only one. Maybe I should have one here, Schumer. Look, number one on something as important as climate, an existential threat to the country. I will make every effort, even when it seems to be an uphill fight, because it's so important. Yes, I'm working with Senator Klobuchar. I support these bills. I want to bring them to the floor. We have to see that we have 60 votes way in the back. Reconciliation vehicle available to you even if it's in the new fiscal year. Well, as you see, we last week about the choice issue crossing state lines. This week, led by Patty Murray and our leading group of women senators, we are putting floating Title 10 on the floor and going forward on that, for UC introducing it, talking about it, letting the American people know. Let's face it, this is a MAGA Supreme Court, a MAGA right-wing extremist Supreme Court, very, very far away from not only where the average American is, but even the average Republican. The people are seeing that. We're seeing it in poll numbers across the country. You're gonna take a look. People are understanding how bad this court is, and that they've been put into power by the Republican Senate, just about every one of them. So we're going to look at everything that we can do to deal with these issues. We don't want to see the country move back. So there you have it, you guys. A whole lot of thought about reconciliation. Joe mentioned the climate was going to be unfolding, and whatever it does, I'll keep you up to date here on the channel. We're gonna see being men. This is all starting to ramp up again. Like I let you know, as we get closer to these midterm elections, things are going to start getting intense because Democrats that are in full control of Congress, they're going to want to stay in control, and Republicans, they're going to want to get in control as well. And we're hearing promises from them as well regarding child tax credits and an assortment of different things. We'll see. I'll keep you up to date every step of the way. And as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button for me, helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much.